Welcome to the Bible Story Podcast. My name is John Drabert. If you have not yet done this, I'd like you to share and subscribe to this podcast wherever you might be listening to that, whether that's on YouTube or your favorite podcast listening app. And so take some time to do that. And that really helps others discover the Bible Story Podcast and thus grow in a relationship with Him. Okay, so in the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at some parables that Jesus taught. Parables are simply stories, short little stories that explain or teach a principle about something. Now, Jesus used these often in His sermons and teachings that He would do publicly. So we're going to look at one today. It is the story about the farmer who was scattering seeds. Now, I know it doesn't sound like all that mind-blowing of a story title, but trust me, there's some really good lessons for us here. Now, I want you to consider this. Now, Jesus compares our hearts to the soil that the farmer is scattering the seeds on. And so I want you to consider, what is your soil like? What is your heart like right now? And as you listen to the story, you're going to get an idea of what it might be like. Okay, so let's get into this. I'm going to start by reading Matthew chapter 13, verses 3 to 9. It says this: He told many stories in the form of parables, such as this one. Listen. A farmer went out to plant some seeds. As he scattered them across his field, some seeds fell on a footpath, and the birds came and ate them. Other seeds fell on shallow soil with underlying rock. The seeds sprouted quickly because the soil was shallow, but the plants soon wilted under the hot sun. And since they didn't have deep roots, they died. Other seeds fell among thorns that grew up and choked out the tender plants. Still other seeds fell on fertile soil, and they produced a crop that was 30, 60, and even 100 times as much as had been planted. Anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. So the disciples asked Jesus what this story meant, because they were really confused as to what He was meaning. And the people, to be quite honest, they were confused as well. And that's partly why Jesus taught in these parables, but you can read about that in the full text in chapter 13, verses 1 through 23. So the disciples asked Jesus, and Jesus gives them this really good explanation. Now, the seed on the footpath, these are the people who don't understand. It never really sinks in. And the devil, the evil one, snatches away the seed before it really can even penetrate the ground, penetrate the hearts, and take any root. And so the seed is gone before there's any chance for there to be even a plant. Now, the rocky soil is the people who hear it and they're excited about what's going on. They say, yeah, I believe in Jesus. I'm all in. But then tough times come. And the hot sun, so to speak, tough times come and their faith wilts because their faith doesn't have any deep roots. And it just is gone. Now, the thorny soil is people who maybe have heard that word, the seed was planted and it started to grow up, but it grew up beside these preoccupations, these focuses on their worries, their successes that they want to pursue, wealth. And so they got all these things of this world that they're focused on, and they also have this faith, and they're growing up together, but these other things grow faster and stronger, and they choke out their faith. And their faith isn't anywhere to be seen anymore because the world's focuses for them have taken up their time and thoughts and energy. And so they may understand the truth behind it, but they don't live within a relationship with Jesus. And so their faith has died. Now finally, the good soil. This is what we all want, right? These people hear the message, they receive it with joy, and they live in a relationship with Jesus. And because there's good soil, their roots have gone deep, there's no weeds, there are things that they just are able to keep focused on Christ and their faith in Him. And so this produces even more seeds, even more opportunities for other people to hear the gospel message, the good news about Jesus Christ. And so this is the kind of soil that we all want and we all strive for. So the question is this: what kind of soil do you have? What kind of heart do you have? Is it a hard footpath where the seed doesn't even penetrate the ground? Or is it the rocky soil that prevents the roots from growing deep? Or maybe it's filled with thorns and weeds and where things of this world take center stage and distract you from living a life with Christ. Or perhaps you do have good soil, which would be amazing. And it's producing more and more seeds for other people to hear the gospel message. What I love about this story, this parable, is that no matter what kind of soil you have, it can become good soil. Hard ground can be tilled and loosened up and made into good soil. If you have rocks in your soil, you can pick those rocks out. If you have weeds, you can remove the weeds. Bad soil can become good soil. And I love that part of this story. So you can make your soil, your heart, more fertile, a better place for the seeds that have been planted to grow and produce more seeds. So let's get into some discussion questions. If you have some people you're listening with, you can pause after each question and discuss these things together. So first question is this: what can we do to ensure we have good soil or a good heart? Hit pause and share. Question 2. What would be the equivalent of tilling the soil, picking rocks, or pulling the weeds for our hearts? Hit pause and share. Question 3. When Jesus says that the seeds landing on the good soil will produce 30, 60, or even 100 times as much, what does that mean? What will come from us when we have good soil or a good heart? Hit pause and share. Hey guys, thanks for listening and tuning in and spending some time with me. Hey, I am praying for you. I'm praying that God will ensure that you have good soil and He will do whatever it takes to make sure that your heart is in a place where you will grow in your faith by leaps and bounds, that you will produce a big harvest. Make sure you guys check in with each other throughout this week and encourage one another and challenge one another as well. Pray for each other before you end your time. And until next episode, next Monday, or whenever you listen to the next episode, you guys have a great week. Take care.